on to the third audio of chapter 6. In the second audio, we stopped where Maddie decides to speak up in future. We continue now. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend, and they signed it with lots of X's for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Heights, writing please forward on the envelope. Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back. So maybe Wanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. So they wrote a letter. They wanted to express their feeling that they were sorry, but somehow it ended as a friendly letter. Then they sent it to Boggins Heights, but they didn't get a reply, so they thought that maybe she is angry with them, and they realize that they cannot blame her for that. Weeks went by, and still Wanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night, making speeches about Wanda, defending her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with. So that was a consolation that she felt, that in her imagination, she defended Wanda. Understand? How many dresses have you got? And before Wanda could press her lips together in a tight line, the way she did before answering, Maddie would cry out, "Stop!" Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. So that was, she didn't have any other way. So in her imagination, she defended Wanda. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. Christmas bells and a small tree decorated the classroom. On the last day of school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she had received that morning. You remember Wanda Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she had written me, and I'm glad to know where she lives, because now I can send her medal. I want to read her letter to you. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened intently. So that itself shows the change in the attitude of the children towards Wanda. Dear Miss Mason, how are you and room 13? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses, because in my new house I have 100 new ones all lined up in my closet. I would like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimming, and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. For Christmas, I miss that school, and my new teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Wanda Petronsky. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. All the houses had wreaths and holly in the windows. Christmas time, right? Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked, and in the window, candy peppermint sticks and cornucopias of shiny transparent paper were strung. Strung means were hung. Cornucopias are decorative containers, usually full of flowers and fruits, usually shaped like a goat's horn. The air smelled like Christmas, and light shining everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. Boy, said Peggy, this shows she really likes us. It shows she got our letter, and this is a way of saying that everything is all right, and that is that. I hope so, said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the little tight-lipped polished girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. So she still felt sad about that they could not meet in person and make amends for what they did. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in the pink flowered wallpaper in the bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of the colors. Maddie sat down on her bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing, but Wanda had been nice to her anyway. tears blurred her eyes, and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Then hastily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. The colors in the dress were so vivid that she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing. But it looked like her, Maddie. It really looked like her own mouth. Why, it really looked like her own self. Vanda had really drawn this for her. Excitedly, she ran over to Peggy's. So, in that excitement, she never looked at the face of the drawing. In that excitement, she hadn't checked the face of the drawing. Now she realized that it resembled her own face. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What is the matter? Asked Peggy as they clattered up to her room where Vanda's drawing was lying face down on the bed. Clattered means make continuous rattling sound. Maddie carefully raised it. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed. And the head and face of the picture did look like Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie. And she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Vanda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, looking stolidly over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, sure, 100 of them all lined up. Thus, the story ends on a happy note where the children realize that though they had made fun of her, Vanda did not harbor any ill feeling towards them. Now, coming to the author of the lesson, Eleanor Esther, she based the story of the 100 dresses on her real life experience as a girl who received Peggy's hand-me-down dresses. She felt so guilty for not having defended the Vanda character in real life that she wrote the story as both an exercise to assuage her guilt and to encourage others to stand up against bullies. So there is an autobiographical element in the story. She has done something like this in her real life towards a Vanda character. Understand? And she had not raised her. So now this is the way she found to assuage her guilt. Okay, thank you, children.